Welcome to Mount Gilead, Tennessee. I'm right here in front of the Mount Gilead United Methodist Church because across the street is this cemetery. I'm in search of some very unique grave sites. Most of the grave sites in the Mount Gilead Cemetery look just like any other cemetery or graveyard that you come across. Except this is unique because back in the early 1800s, it was more for aesthetic reasons. They say to keep the critters out, but it's for aesthetics, really. These tent graves, these are just big chunks of limestone that have been shaped like a tent. And the marker is in front of the graves in most cases, and there's a blockade on either side. Let's check some of these out. This style of gravesite was used only in the South, and it lasted through the 1800s. It became popular in the early 1800s. 1855. Some of these don't have a marker at all. Some appear to have two markers. It's 1859. This tree has taken over this grave. As you can see, a lot of these grave sites have been damaged over time, weather, what have you. It seems like they take care of it very well, though. The groundskeeper was out here doing some mowing and weed eating when I came, and we had a conversation about how nice this is out here and how well they take care of it. It's one of the nicest cemeteries that I've visited. It's a cool gravestone. Mixed in with the newer part of the cemetery, where mostly the common gravestones are some of these older style tent graves and this as well. Looks like it could rain pretty soon. You could take your shoes off and walk through this grass. It is very nice. When I was talking to the groundskeeper about this, he also told me that there's another church, a very old church. He says very, 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 very old church, just about 10 miles down yonder, that also has these tent-style graves. I think we should go check it out. Friends, we are going to go to this other location, Mount Pisgah. I'll learn how to pronounce it and get back with you in just a moment. It's Mount Pisgah, P-I-S-G-A-H, Pisgah. We're gonna go find a little church there. Man, we are way out in the middle of Tennessee, somewhere in the middle of Tennessee. There's really not much around.
You know where the store is right over there?
No, I haven't been that way yet. I came from that way.
Well, if you go that way, when you come to the crossing, just take a left and it'll take you right back out to the road there.
Okay.
And you just keep on going. It's probably 7, 8, 10 miles out there from here. Okay. You go that way, you hit 136, go through Walling, right there at 136, and just keep on going. You'll come around a big curve. Then just right before you go around the curve, you'll turn back right, and that church and that big cemetery is right there. There's a lot of them right there.
All right. Thanks.
I mean, there's some big old cedar trees out there that's over 200-year-old.
Wow. I'll have to go check it out. Thanks, man.
All right.
Yeah. Mount Pisgah Methodist Church. Well, it really wasn't hard to find the Mount Pisgah Methodist Church and the cemetery attached. You can see the tent grave sites from a distance. Let's go check them out. way back here, the far back side of the cemetery, are the tent graves. The gentleman I spoke to at the last cemetery, the groundskeeper, told me about these 200-year-old cedar trees that are out here too. They are big. A lot of these are so old you really can't read much of them, but they are some old dates. This one's 1863. This is interesting. You can see the way that the old gravestones were made. They had this foundation block limestone around it. Look at all the moss on this. These are some really large trees in here that have taken over these graves. A lot of the graves here are opened up like they were at the other one, but I see about maybe half of these here are actually damaged, where the other one, a lot of them were damaged, a lot more than half. This one has completely fallen apart. You can't really see inside though. Not that there would be anything inside but dirt, but you want to look anyway, right? Sarah Bosson, Dayton, Ohio, 1806 to 1846, 40 years old. Right next to Sarah is Charles Bosson, born in 1791. He died in 1864. Graduated Harvard, classmate of Edward Everett, class of 1811. Very cool. I think it's a really interesting regional ceremonial thing for death. This wasn't all over the United States. Like I said, it was just in the South. I've never seen it before. Would have been interesting to be a visitor here and maybe visiting the church or something and to see this in your travels. That was all that was here. Looks like they started having the regular grave sites in the early 1900s. But until then, it seems like this area, that was their way of doing it. Back on the road. You know, I love roadside stops like this. Just picked up some fresh vegetables and watermelon for the family at this little house on the side of the road. Got a lot. Thanks for watching today, friends. In this search for the tent graves of Tennessee, you're definitely not going to want to miss the next episode where you find something very unique. I appreciate you being here. If you like what you're seeing, hit like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.